South Korea to build underwater settlement? South Korea plans on building a livable underwater station with its own data center. The pilot project of the Korea Ocean Science and Technology Institute was supported by their government and would cost about $30 million. The construction of the facility, including living and working spaces, will take 5 years. And as at the ISS, various scientific experiments are planned at the submarine station, including the testing of a marine disaster early warning system and the use of underwater tourism complexes. The inhabited complex will be integrated into the infrastructure of the Ulsan metropolitan area and plans to be carbon neutral, as the cooling data wind conditions, especially when launching, and also adds 2 auxiliary vertical engines in case of engine failures. The CCY-01 can accelerate up to 130 km per hour, fly up to 40 km, and land on the site about 2.5 by 2.5 meters. Scientists at MIT have developed a robotic system that allows neurosurgeons to perform endovascular interventions remotely. The new technology is designed to save the lives of patients in a critical situation, such as stroke, who need to be operated on immediately to preserve brain function. Thus, access to high-tech healthcare can be ensured even in remote and rural areas. Endovascular surgery is a minimally invasive procedure that consists of a puncture to the skin and induction of a special wire in the arteries and vessels. The procedure is carried out under the control of X-rays and allows it to perform complex manipulations with minimal health risks and complications. Thanks to this new design, the doctor can stay in another room or another city and control the robot with a joystick. Equilibri Technologies, founded by engineers from DeepMind, announced work on artificial intelligence which will independently analyze the stock market and buy stocks in digital currencies. Previously, the company had created the world's first AI which easily beat professional poker players. Now, developers have decided to conquer the world of investment. To improve the algorithm, developers use training with reinforcement. The startup algorithm, according to its founder, differs from its long-standing counterparts in large banks and hedge funds in its accuracy. The Czech company Somnium Space, which produces blockchain products, is going to launch a mode of eternal life, which will allow people to create digital avatars imitating their appearance, voice, and personality. These avatars will be able to function even after the death of the wearer. And to do this, the company plans to create an artificial intelligence that can combine all the data about a person and communicate plausibly with his friend and family members, at least for some time. What do you think of that? Hyundai Motor announced it plans to launch several types of urban air taxis of its own development by 2028. The devices will be both pure electrical and hydrogen fuel cells. The first option assumes short flights no more than 120 kilometers inside the cities, and the second, long-distance flights from 200 to 1,000 kilometers. Their development will be the responsibility of the newly established division of the company named Supernal. The urban version will be similar to the DJI drone with a passenger cabin and will be able to take off from the site, whereas a suburban airline needs an actual airstrip. Hyundai is already building the infrastructure for the apparatus, namely hydrogen fueling stations and electric charging. Or rather, the company creates it for cars, but in such a way that it's suitable for air taxis as well. The ABB robot prints dishes, designer furniture, household items, and other items directly into the London shop window on Oxford Street. The robot makes objects from recycled plastic provided by Parley for the oceans. Parley creates materials from marine plastic debris and fishing gear that it collects from islands, coastal communities, and coastlines. The buyer can go into the store, pick an item out of the catalog, and the robot will print it out in no time. Nissan has teamed up with NASA to create an electric car charging technology in just 15 minutes. To do this, the best minds of the two organizations will create an inexpensive solid-state battery, which will differ from lithium-ion not only in energy density and price, but also much shorter charging times. The new battery factory will be located south of Tokyo, and its lines should be operational by 2024. Nissan expects the development of these batteries will not only help to charge cars while you drink coffee, but also reduce the cost of cars to the level of gasoline. Bionaut Labs startup has created a tiny robot that can work inside the human brain. The robot enters the brain by injection and is controlled by a magnet. Magnetic coils are placed outside the patient's skull and connected to the computer. The device can remotely inject the micro-robot into the affected part of the brain and remove it in the same way. The entire machine is easily transported and consumes 10 times less energy than an MRI. The researchers plan to use a robot to pierce fluid-filled cysts in the brain. And if successful, the devices are going to be used to treat Dandy-Walker syndrome, a rare brain defect found in children, and the device has already been tested on large animals. The neural net was taught to predict the side effects of new drug combinations. This was made possible by machine learning and more than 15 million records from undesirable reports published by the United States Food and Drug Administration. The neural network mimicked the process of the human brain when it created associations between data. As a result, she was able to identify common patterns between drugs and their side effects, and this allowed the algorithm to detect side effects of combination therapy. Fifish introduced its underwater robot V6 Expert M100, which can be controlled via virtual reality. It has a 4K Full HD camera, 6,000 lumen flashlight, and a VR tracking system. A 12-megapixel camera has a 166-degree viewing angle, and this robot can move underwater in all directions and work for an hour and a half at 1 meter per second. Would you play around with this toy? Let us know. Sony showed the Baby Robots Eval O3, which can repeat all your dance moves. This is not a new concept, but perhaps the most miniature embodiment of such a robot. And by the way, Eval O3 made their debut at the Exhibition of Robots in Japan, which we talked about at the release, and you can see that here in the hint. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and don't miss any new episodes from the world of high tech. NASA told how it holoported doctors to the International Space Station last autumn. According to the agency's press release, on October 8th of 2021, astronaut Thomas Pesquet communicated with the hologram of surgeon Joseph Schmidt and a team of nurses. Holograms were created and transferred to the ISS with the help of Microsoft HoloLens Connect camera, a special software from the startup AEXA Aerospace, which creates high-quality 3D models of people. As a result, thanks to holoportation, from the combination of the words hologram and teleportation, astronauts were able to communicate with people from Earth in real time. Project participants reported that the technology would make it possible to reach the ISS live at any time without affecting the station's movement at 28,000 kilometers per hour, or the altitude of 402 kilometers above Earth. Microsoft has been working on holoportation for the past 6 years, but this is the first time it's been used outside of the Earth. And now the company plans to combine it with augmented reality technologies to improve the experience of all involved participants. A group of Japanese scientists has created nanobots capable of operating as an organized system. The swarm's efficiency was 5 times greater than that of single devices, with nanobots sharing the workload, responding to risks, and even creating complex structures in response to environmental changes. The team constructed about 5 million nanobots consisting of 2 biological components, microtubules associated with DNAs, and a kind of drive capable of transporting the microtubules. DNA was combined with light-sensitive azobenzene, which functioned as a sensor and helped control the swarm. When applied to a compound by visible light, it forms double strands of DNA and many microtubules. Exposure to ultraviolet radiation reverses this process. The weight for the nanobots was polystyrene balls with a diameter of 1 to 10 micrometers, and as a result, the nanorobots would pick up the load when exposed to visible light and give it away when exposed to ultraviolet light. In the future, swarms of nanobots can be used for transportation and collection of cargo, as well as for the construction of complex structures. Tesla has established data centers on the moon. Equipment for the verification of the concept, namely the server and storage module, will be sent as part of Lunar Mission Intuitive Machines IM-2 scheduled for December of this year. The company's engineers expect the lunar data center to provide peripheral computing for the future missions, as well as backup and disaster recovery services. In the future, the startup plans to make the Moon a place to provide premium data storage services. The company has already received venture capital funding and has applied to the International Telecommunication Union for the use of radio frequency spectrum on the Moon. IonQ and Hyundai Motor will use the quantum technologies to classify images and recognize 3D objects. IonQ has already made great progress in classifying 43 types of road signs using its own quantum capacity. The next step will be to combine quantum machine learning with the Hyundai test environment and reproduce a variety of scenarios possible in the real world. IonQ and Hyundai intend to find a wider application of quantum technologies. For example, in addition to road signs, three-dimensional objects such as pedestrians and cyclists will be recognized. The newest quantum computer IonQ Aria will be responsible for data processing. The Japanese company JR West introduced a robot for railway maintenance. It's a platform with an integrated humanoid robot on a retractable structure. The robot can perform various works with heavy equipment at high altitudes. The robot's controlled by an operator who sees the first-person image and can receive feedback from the machine about the interaction with the objects. Control of the bot requires almost no training, and while the robot itself can interact with objects of any shape, it's not afraid of shocks. This development will go on sale in 2024 and should improve the productivity and safety of railway workers. For the past 5 years, researchers at the Tokyo Information Somatics Laboratory have been testing the capabilities of additional robotic limbs that could help a person perform various actions similar to those of Dr. Octopus in the Marvel comic book series. The aim is to find the ways to restructure the human body, paying.
The robot's hardware has also been updated. The 5 stereo cameras on the case now provide the operator with a full-color image when building 3D maps. The Spot Control tablet received intuitive control with a touchscreen, 8 hours of autonomous operation, protection from impacts and weathering. But Boston Dynamics also offers a physical joystick to control the Spot arm and virtual joysticks to control the robot itself. The scientists at the MIT Artificial Intelligence Laboratory have created an algorithm to solve the most complex problems of computer vision, assigning a mark to each pixel in an image without human intervention. The StetGo algorithm is based on the Dino algorithm, which knows almost everything about the world thanks to its database of 14 million images. But the new algorithm improves the basis of Dino through a learning process that mimics our ability to piece together coherent pictures. For the StetGo unmanned vehicle datasets, StetGo has successfully segmented roads, people, and road signs with much higher resolution and detail than previous systems. In images from space, the system smashed every square foot of the Earth's surface into roads, vegetation, and buildings. To detect these simple objects without human assistance, the algorithm searches for similar objects that appear in the dataset. He then ties these objects together to construct consistent views of the world. This system is essentially capable of giving a real vision to any tech, from a robot to an autonomous car. Starlink satellite internet became portable. Users were allowed to take terminals on trips for $25 a month. The service was called Portability, and now remote workers can live and work in places where there's never a fixed connection nor 5G. The truth is that the traffic communication is not working yet, and also users were warned that priority in the provider's network will be given to fixed registered subscribers. Tesla's building a new plant in Shanghai with the capacity of 450,000 electric cars per year. It will be located right next to the operating plant. Together, the two factories will have to produce more than 1 million